Check that out. 1903 Springfield. Sporterized. It's a higher serial number. This is like a 1922, I think. So dang near 100 years old. 4x12 Vortex Crossfire 2. We're shooting 180 grain Hornady SST. Just gonna shoot some milk jug, some bottles, and then we're gonna go over a little history of this bad girl. Yep. Forgot this was sighted in for like 150 yards. But anyways, it is such a great shooter, and for being 100 years old, and she's just pretty. I got this at a gun sale a couple years ago, and it's a real eye catcher. Just so pretty. Let's go over here and we'll talk a little history. So the 1903 Springfield, like the name says, patented in 1903. That's when the U.S. government came up with the design. And the funniest part is, it's basically the same type of design as a Mauser rifle, as the 1898 Mauser bolt action. A lot of the designs are the same, like, and the Germans actually tried to sue they did sue for patent infringement for the stripper clip placement, because it was almost identical of how the stripper clip would sit down in the gun. The bolts are pretty well identical. Everything how a bolt works is almost identical to a Mauser rifle. And whenever they first developed the rifle, it was a 1903 3003. It wasn't fully a 30-06 until 1906. Just tweak the bullet a little bit, flies a little bit faster, hits a little bit harder. And that's why they came up with the 30-06, which of course is still in use today. They used it in the M1 Grands, they used it any hunting rifle. Everywhere you go, small town America, someone has a 30-06. And it replaced the 30-40 Craig rifle just because of you couldn't load it fast. You had to single load every bullet. A lot bigger, slower, less downrange energy bullet. And of course they were still using the old trapdoor Springfields, like the I believe some of them were chambered 45-70, some like 40-70, all the weird straight case rounds. They were still using those a little bit, but this replaced them because it was a lot faster. If you would get hit with it, you would not get back up, because you'd be in some serious pain, or you wouldn't be feeling any pain at all, because you'd be dead. And they came up with it, like the Germans tried to say all this, and it was a lot of designs based off of the Mauser rifle, but it really worked. And it wasn't like the gun was just, and then of course we took it to World War I. That's what the Americans were using, especially the Marines had the Springfields. It was used on the front line. That was just a normal service rifle. And then whenever World War II started, it was somewhat of just a marksman rifle. The guys who could pop people in the head at 500 yards were given Springfields, decked out with either big scopes or actually I don't think any had the big rear aperture sight, but they just marksmen would get these guns. And even into the Korean War they would use them. I'm not sure about Vietnam, and even today you still see a lot of our Marines and stuff whenever they're in uniform doing everything, like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. You see, actually they carry a lot of M1 Grands, but decorative rifle. It's a very pretty rifle, and it was just one of the rifles that stood out as far as our military goes with development of our weaponry. It was just a really good gun. So you still see it a lot, and obviously the guys would bring these home from the war. Like this one never would have seen combat because it was after World War One, but it's sporterized because the stock on these is a Mannlicher style stock that comes clean to the end. Of course, this is a custom made stock, probably well over at least 70 years old. And the funniest part was, whenever the very first years they came out, there were two types of bayonets. There was a single rod fixed attached bayonet. It just came to a point, and then later on they developed one with a blade and a detachable bayonet. And the first rod bayonets were actually a step down from the 30-40 Kriegs, which had just a regular, basically a knife on the end of the barrel. And Teddy Roosevelt actually was in the Oval Office and had one of his guards bring this new rifle up with one of the bayonets. And Teddy Roosevelt didn't like the design. He thought it was kind of cheap, kind of like chintzy. And he himself had a Kreg rifle. And anyone that knows any history about Teddy Roosevelt, he was a badass, did not care whatsoever. He took up the rifle, the Kreg rifle, and basically thrusted like you were going to attack him. He was going to attack the guard with the rifle. It said that he swung around, hit the bayonet on the Springfield, the rod bayonet, and busted it off with the knife bayonet. And after that, you know, he talked to the military and everything and said, we need the old design style of the knife on the end of the barrel bayonet. And I don't know if that story is true. That's what I've always heard through history and everything about that, and I thought that was really cool. But just an absolutely pretty rifle, a beautiful rifle. You can honestly pick these up fairly cheap, and like this one, great condition. I bought this for $200. That was about 3 years ago. Yeah, I think it was $200. 30-06. Great common caliber. You can shoot, well, used to be able to shoot it for about $18 for 20. Not anymore, due to a certain president or, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, just wanted to show you guys this, and because I know the gun videos actually have been doing really well on the channel. I mean, not super well. I mean, 30 views is a lot compared to 2, but apples to apples. But yeah, 1903. And drop a like, subscribe, tell your friends, comment, anything. I do have a fair amount of old rifles that are going to be very expensive to shoot, but I will shoot them for you guys if you want to see them. Have a Savage Model 99 300 Savage, a Winchester Model 70 carbine, which I guess that's not too old, but a chambered in 253,000, a not very common gun. Old Ithaca double barrel. I have a J.C. Higgins Mauser rifle, Model 50 with in a 270, and a couple other oldies. But yeah, whatever you guys want to see, I could honestly probably get it in my hands and be able to shoot it for you guys. But till next time, see you guys.